I lost my sister Jack to cancer several years ago. During her final months, she learned her husband Sam was cheating on her. She also became aware that he was planning to make a life with his affair partner once she was gone. She was angry, hurt, betrayed, and disgusted by him. He had made all these plans with his other woman, with the money she would be leaving behind. Sister had sued one of her former doctors for medical negligence, and won, so she was sitting on a very life-changing amount. She didn't want Sam or his other woman or any future kids of theirs to benefit from her death and the negligence that caused her very treatable cancer to be fatal. So she changed where everything would go and set up a trust with me as the trustee. Once Sam learned this, after Jack's death, he did everything to try and carry out damage control with me. But when he realized I knew about his affair and was disgusted by him and would not be helping him break the law, he tried to cut me off from Sky and Belle, which led me to fight for visitation in court under our grandparents' family right laws. I won. I see my nibblings every other Saturday, all major holidays, and he cannot prevent phone access between us. Sam married his other woman and now has additional children and her child from a previous relationship, who moved in with them 3-ish years ago. He's asked me to include his other children, and in the past I would say no, but it's continued to the point where I now ignore his requests completely. Sky, teen male, and Belle, young teen female, told me that their dad tries to involve them, but they don't want to include their step-siblings or half-siblings. They wanted to live with me and my family, but I don't have grounds for that. So I just see and speak to them as much as I can, and we spend time together when we get it. But they clearly want to keep me, my husband, and their cousins for themselves. We're their only extended maternal family. Sky told me a couple of weeks ago that things might get worse because their dad was adopting his stepchild, and the oldest half-sibling is asking more questions about why they don't get to come. Sky was right, and Sam told me the kids wanted to come, and I should open my heart. He decided to approach me at the school gate and called me out for ignoring his request. A couple of other parents who heard him say I ignored his kids were mumbling that I was a pretty heartless person to let kids get hurt in the middle of this. Sam also accused me of turning my nibblings against him and their family, and he said refusing to include the kids shows how much I don't care about their hurts. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. He betrayed his wife on her deathbed and wanted to steal from his 2 kids? He wants a free babysitter and some alone time with his cheating wife. This is like asking your sister, if she were alive, to watch her husband and affair partner's children. She wouldn't, and you are 100% not obligated. His other children need to learn their place in the family tree. Eventually, they'll stop asking. The time you spend with your nibblings could be the same time their half and step-siblings spend with their mother's family. I think your former brother-in-law is being manipulative. He's trying to use you as childcare, or something worse. I think he's trying to get me to bond with the kids, so I'll break the law and go against my trust for my nibblings, and they'll all get their hands on the money my sister left. It's disgusting, but I know he can think like that. It would be illegal for me to do so, but he thinks he can make me soft enough to risk it. Yes, the audacity of this guy's driving me bonkers. Next time your brother-in-law tries shaming you in front of other parents, you should point at him and loudly say, "You cheated on my dying sister, and those kids you're trying to shame me with are your and your affair partner's kids. Stay out of my life, Sam," said loud as you can to make heads turn and look. If he feels it's appropriate to blast you publicly, it's fair for you to do it too. Oh, is it air the dirty family laundry time? Hold on, I made notes for this day. OP, this is about the money. He wants to use his kids to get his hands on your sister's money. If you spend time with them, he'll expect you to buy them gifts and pay for stuff. Make sure that he can't access any money you give to your niece and nephew. I don't know if I'm the idiot or not for this. Usually my mom will host for Christmas, but she just can't keep up this year. My sister-in-law has been in the family for years, and in my opinion, she's a food snob. She has multiple allergies, nothing life-threatening, just unpleasant for her. Since we all understand allergies, we make sure to keep everything separate and not cross-contaminate. We don't want to risk her eating something, and instead of getting a rash, she needs a hospital visit. Now, the reason I think she's a food snob isn't due to her allergies. It's nitpicking the dish Mom makes each year. I've watched year after year, and she makes backhanded comments about the food. My mom told me to stay out of it, so I did. 2 years ago, there was a mess-up, and it caused a reaction. It was a huge deal, and last year my mom wanted her to bring her own dish, since she was worried she would mess up again. This caused a huge fight between them, and she threatened to pull the grandkids away if she couldn't be a good host and give them something they could eat. My mom caved. The dinner came and went, and she got backhanded comments about the food. My mom can't host anymore, and none of my brothers were doing it, so I stepped up. I called sister-in-law and told her she needed to bring her own meal. I told her I was not experienced in handling allergies, and I couldn't guarantee the food would be safe, so I would not make her anything. I didn't tell her, but the other reason was that I didn't want her complaining about my food. This caused an argument about me being a horrible host. I made it clear I wouldn't accommodate her, and she doesn't have to come. My brother was angry, but my mom laughed when I told her. Edit. I would love it if sister-in-law hosted, but apparently her house is too small. Not the idiot. So her house is too small? My foot. Invite sister-in-law to use your kitchen to host the dinner while you take care of the decor, setup, and perhaps a hand with prep and cleanup. If you think you can stand her that long. Your sister-in-law sounds like an entitled idiot. Agree, but I wouldn't say this is because of her allergies. She threatened your mother with not seeing her grandkids? That's unacceptable. Sister-in-law is not normal. Usually at my family gatherings, everyone brings something. I'm the only vegetarian, so I make sure that I bring that. Sister-in-law has no right to threaten your mother with not seeing the kids over this. Everyone's the idiot here. You downplaying allergies is weird. Well, yes, depending on the amount of exposure, your symptoms can be minor, rash, hives, etc. A high enough dose of any allergen will land you in the hospital, period. That's what allergies do. You're wrong for acting like this is a non-issue. Her freaking out about being asked to bring her own dish and calling people poor host and threatening to cut contact with children is unhinged. Y'all are just dysfunctional. I'm celiac and have food allergies. Anyone with multiple allergies who doesn't pack their own food is an idiot, and anyone who threatens someone's relationship with their grandkids over a meal is a deeply unwell person. This isn't about the allergies. This is about power. She threatened your mom with access to grandkids. I'll also point out that she and her brother did not step up or take over cooking. I think you handled this the way she deserved. Shut it down early and put the onus on her. Don't be her doormat. Sometimes the only winning move is not to play. My husband, 38, and I, 40 female, have been married for 8 years and have a preschooler son. 3 weeks ago, my husband's father unexpectedly passed away. It was shocking for the entire family, and we're all grieving because he passed away the week before Thanksgiving. The funeral was scheduled for this coming Friday. My husband is the oldest of 3 brothers, so he's taken on a lot of responsibility for helping plan the funeral, getting his dad's estate in order, and helping his mom with pretty much everything she needs. His younger brother helps when and where they can, but they don't take initiative like my husband. This has made my husband feel very stressed lately. I've done my best to be patient and understanding with him, but he always seems angry. It doesn't help that our relationship hasn't been the best for the past 6 months. We started couples therapy around 2 months ago, but our therapist has been on paternity leave for the past month, so we haven't been able to meet with him. One of the ways my husband likes to relieve stress is through intimacy, but one of the biggest reasons we started couples therapy is because our bedroom life has been non-existent. We've maybe done it 5 to 6 times this year. Due to some childhood trauma, not SA, intimacy and showing physical affection can be difficult for me. I've always struggled with it, and my husband has been understanding, but I know it's frustrating for him. The other day, all this came to a head when he was clearly very stressed. He was short and snappy with me and our son. He ended up retreating to the basement. When I went down to talk with him, things got even worse. I tried to console him and figure out what was bothering him, but he just said he was sad and angry. I asked him if anything would cheer him up, and he said, yes, intimacy. I told him that I don't have an interest in that right now because I'm exhausted and I've been having headaches pretty much all the time from stress. He said that he just wanted to feel something other than hurt and pain, and I told him that he was going to have to find a different release for that. He then said the meanest thing he's ever said to me. He said, then if you're going to go, leave me alone. You always have an excuse, and I'm tired of being rejected all the time. If we're not going to have intimacy, what the heck are we even doing? I told him that was very mean, and that I understand he's grieving, but we're all hurting right now, and his wants and needs aren't more important than anyone else's. I told him I knew he didn't mean that, but I will give him some space. He said he absolutely meant it. He said that his dad's death made him realize life is too short to stay in a situation that doesn't work for you, and this clearly isn't working for him. I told him we should wait and talk with our couples therapist about this, and he said, what's the point? Nothing's going to change. I'm sick of sugarcoating this so that I don't hurt your feelings. I cried myself to sleep that night, and he's barely spoken to me since. Everything is a one-word answer. When I try to talk to him about how he's feeling, he always says he's fine, and he just wants to get through the funeral on Friday and relax this weekend. I was talking to a friend about this because I needed to vent. She told me that he's probably just grieving and doesn't mean the things he said. But I'm worried that he's telling me the truth about how he feels and that he's really checked out of our marriage. I know he's grieving, but he's just been such a jerk, and it's so mean all the time now. OP, you should start coming to terms with the fact that your marriage is over. You're not required to have intimacy with someone if you don't want to, but he's also not required to submit himself to a lifetime of rejection over and over and over again. I don't think you understand what it does to someone to be rejected constantly. It can really have an impact on them, and I think your husband's just now fully recognizing this. Marriage counseling's not really going to help here, from the sounds of it. Begrudgingly, you are not the idiot specifically for not having intimacy when you don't want to, but you are the idiot in every other way here. You're not the idiot for having issues and struggles, but you are the idiot for expecting him to go to couples counseling so he can further understand why you won't sleep with him, versus you attending counseling for yourself to learn how you can overcome the issues preventing you from having a healthy, intimate life and stopping you from being affectionate. It's likely a lot of your problems as a couple stem from what's called a dead bedroom. I 100% agree. I get the impression that you're not in therapy for yourself to work through your issues, but expect him to go through couples therapy to come to terms with you not dealing with your issues. You asked your husband what the problem is. He gave you an answer. You said you wouldn't do it. He's telling you how to fix it, and you don't want to do it. He may be grieving, but he's being honest with you. You now know what your soon-to-be ex's breaking point is. Congrats. I, 24 female, got married to my husband, 26, at the start of this year, and everything was perfect, except for the fact that my husband's best friend of 20 years and the best man at the wedding, who I'll call Luke, proposed to his girlfriend at my wedding. I know some people find it very sweet and endearing when close friends or family get engaged at their wedding, and that's what I was told by many people at the time. I don't feel that way, however, and thought it was very rude to announce something like that at a wedding and take the attention away from the couple. My husband disagreed and said it was okay because he gave them permission, but had somehow never thought to tell me, even though it was my wedding too. His excuse was that I might have told the fiancé, which I wouldn't because I don't even know her well. What made me even more furious was that I felt they were taking advantage of our wedding, the decor, venue, props, photographer, etc., which we had put our hard-earned money into and worked hours overtime for. People were obviously very excited for them and were swooning over them the whole night, and I felt that they were intentionally showing off, which just made me angrier. I'm not mad at my husband since it was almost a year ago, but I guess I still haven't forgiven the couple. I was also friendly with Luke before, but we weren't as close, and to me, He was always my husband's friend and not my friend. Since that whole situation at my wedding, I've not talked to him except to explain how I felt about him proposing at my wedding. But my husband still contacts and meets Luke often. Luke and his fiancée announced they were getting married mid-next year and invited my husband and me. I really don't want to go and don't feel comfortable going, but I said that my husband could go if he wants to. Their wedding's also far from us, so we'd have to drive quite a bit and book a hotel for the day before and after. I don't feel like it's worth it to spend my time and money on that, but my husband can if he wants. My husband said that I was being petty and self-centered. I have to go because my husband is the best man and would look odd without a date. He also said that I should support the couple on their big day, even if I don't like them. It would be rude because they came to our wedding. I just told him that was funny, considering how they supported us on our big day. If I'm being honest, I don't care about being rude to the couple. I just don't want my husband to think I'm intentionally trying to be rude. I just don't want to go because I don't feel comfortable going to the wedding of people I don't like. Am I the idiot if I don't go? Edit. Yes, Luke had my husband's permission, but he asked my husband not to tell me because I might let it slip to the fiancé. I wouldn't tell her at all because I have no contact with her, no phone number, socials, etc. I think he didn't want to tell me because he knew I wouldn't like it. They never apologized. They were like, "Your hubby said yes, so it's fine. You never had a say. It's not your decision because I'm your husband's best friend, not yours, so it's his decision," etc. At the wedding, they just hogged a few tables with a bunch of close friends, who were also a few of our close friends, and did their own thing, I guess. And from what I heard when I went over, it was all about their engagement. They also hogged the photographer for a bit. Honey, show up to their wedding and announce your pregnancy in the middle of their speeches. Bring small yellow socks with your names to give to partygoers. Talk about your joys and anxieties the entire time. Become the focal point. Meh, unethical life trip, but I'm toxic like that. Honestly, I was thinking similar, but show up announcing the divorce. Dear husband deserves that. Love, if you don't like the people that are at the wedding, don't go. You're an adult. You can make a decision yourself. It's not up to your husband. He can't just make you go if you don't want to, especially after they took advantage of your kindness. What the heck? What makes me worried is how you've worded this story. It sounds like your husband has tried to force you to do things you hadn't wanted to do. I could have totally misunderstood, but I don't think that I have. But please stand up for yourself. You deserve the final say on this matter. I'm sorry that your wedding didn't go how you wanted, but that's your husband's fault, not Luke's or his wife's. Stop misdirecting your anger, because your aim better be accurate if you need a hill to die on. Your husband is an idiot for giving them the go-ahead to get engaged at your wedding without discussing it with you. You can't blame your husband's friend, since they asked first, and your husband said yes. You are the idiot because it's crap. You felt your wedding was overshadowed, but is holding a grudge like this worth the hassle? Be mad at your husband if you're going to be mad at anyone.